Tonkel, sitting in a cramped studio apartment in Manila, reflects on how everything fell apart. I lost $680,000 in Thailand. My retirement, my dignity, 28 years of my life, and the worst part, I handed it all over willingly, year after year, believing every lie, ignoring every warning sign, convincing myself that next year would be different. 28 years. 28 years of my life that I'll never get back. 28 years of believing she loved me, that we were building something together, that I was creating a home and a family. Sitting here in Manila, watching motorbikes weave through traffic from my third-floor window, I can't help but think about that first night in Pattaya in 1997. I was 44 years old, freshly divorced and desperate for something, anything to make me feel alive again. Thailand taught me a lesson I'll never forget. You can't save someone who sees you as an ATM. No matter how much you give, no matter how many years you invest, it's never enough when greed is the foundation. Let me take you back to January 1997. I was 44, British, and I'd just finalized the most painful divorce of my life after catching my wife of 16 years cheating with my business partner. I had approximately $285,000, about $480,000 at the exchange rate back then. After the divorce settlement, this was meant to be my fresh start, my chance to rebuild, maybe even retire early if I was smart about it. I'd invested most of it, getting about 8% return at the time, which meant I had roughly $300 to $200 coming in every month. That was more than enough to live on in Thailand back then. Hell, it was more than enough to live like a king. My ex-wife had been sleeping with Roger for 2 years, my bloody business partner. After 16 years of marriage, 2 kids who were already away at university, and thinking we'd retire together on the coast, she told me over breakfast one Tuesday that she was in love with someone else. She took half of everything, the house we'd built, and didn't look back once. At 44, suddenly single and angry at the world, I felt like I'd wasted my entire adult life. I'd worked in IT since the late 70s, always putting my family first, always playing it safe, always doing the right thing. And what did it get me? A cheating wife, and a life that felt utterly empty. I'd visited Thailand 3 years earlier, on a business trip to Bangkok. The moment I stepped off that plane, something felt different. The heat, the chaos, the energy. It was overwhelming, but also liberating. I wasn't Jay the IT guy or Jay the husband. I was just another face in a foreign city, where nobody knew my failures. A colleague who'd been living in Pattaya for 5 years kept telling me about his life there. You can live like a king on that kind of money, he'd say. The women actually appreciate men like us. It's not like back home where you're invisible after 40. I thought he was exaggerating, but his words stuck with me during those dark months after the divorce. March 1997, I arrived in Pattaya. The heat hit me like a wall when I stepped off the bus from Bangkok. It wasn't just hot. It was thick, wet heat that made my shirt cling to my back instantly. But there was something intoxicating about it. Neon lights reflecting off wet streets even in daylight. Motorbikes weaving through traffic with entire families balanced on them. High-rises next to street food stalls. The constant hum of traffic mixing with Thai pop music, blasting from bars at 2 in the afternoon. It was sensory overload and I loved it. Those first few weeks I felt like I'd finally escaped. Everything was affordable, exciting, easy. The pressure of my old life, the job, the marriage, the expectations, it all felt a million miles away. I rented a studio apartment near Soi Buakau for 4,500 baht a month, about 90, maybe $145, food, drinks, entertainment. I was spending maybe $800 a month total, and I was living better than I ever had back in Manchester. I could eat out 3 times a day, have a few beers, get massages, and still save money every month. If I'd just kept things that way, simple, cheap, smart, none of this would have happened. But I wasn't thinking about simple. I was thinking about not being alone anymore. I was thinking about proving to myself that I was still desirable, still capable of making a woman happy, still worth something. And that's when I met her. I'd been in Thailand for about 4 months when I met Pang. Walking Street, Pattaya. This was 1997. There were maybe 30 or 40 bars back then, nothing like the hundreds you see today. The street was still quiet during the day, and even at night it had a different vibe. Less crowded, less aggressive. Or maybe I was just naive. I'd walked past dozens of girls that evening, all of them dressed in bikinis with numbers pinned to them, calling out to passers-by. "Handsome man, where you go? I'll come inside." It was overwhelming at first, but after 4 months I'd gotten used to it. I'd bar-find a few girls for company, nothing serious, just paying for the illusion of connection for a night or two. But Pang was different. She was standing by herself at the edge of a bar called Sugar's, not dancing on the pole like some of the others, not aggressively calling out to men. She had this shy smile and was pale-skinned, unlike most of the other girls who were darker from Misen. No tattoos, no piercings. She looked like she didn't belong there. I walked in, ordered a Chang beer, and she approached me. "Buy me drink." Her English wasn't great, and there was no Google Translate to help back then, but something about her made me want to stay. She had this vulnerability, this gentleness that felt genuine. Within an hour, she told me about her life. She was from a small village in Surin province. Her parents were rice farmers who had nothing. She'd dropped out of school at 14 to help on the farm, but there was no money, no future there. She had a daughter, 4 years old, from a previous relationship. "Thai man no good," she said, showing me printed photos from her wallet. Actual printed photographs, not on a phone. A little girl with a beautiful smile. Pang wasn't like the other girls I'd met in Pattaya. She didn't immediately ask for money or push me to bar-find her right away. She didn't flirt with other guys while talking to me. She just seemed lost, like she needed someone. "I know what you're thinking. Bar girl, poor village kid. Thai man no good." I'd heard it all before from dozens of other girls in those 4 months. But with her it felt real, like she wasn't playing a game, like she actually saw me as a person, and not just a wallet. Yes, I was 18 years older than her, but I thought age didn't matter in Thailand. I thought she'd appreciate stability over youthful stupidity. I thought I could give her a life she'd never have otherwise, a life her daughter would never have otherwise. I bar-fined her that night for 500 baht. We went for dinner at a small Thai restaurant off the main street. Then she came back to my apartment. We just talked for hours. She told me about her village, about the rice fields, about how hard her parents worked for nothing. I told her about my divorce, about feeling invisible back home, about wanting a fresh start. The next day when she called, she said her mother was sick and needed medicine. The rent at her room was due. Her daughter needed to see a doctor. 10,000 baht, about 200 or maybe 320 at the time. I didn't even hesitate. If this was real, if she was real, then helping her family was the right thing to do. This was an investment in showing her I was serious, that I wasn't like the other guys who just wanted one night. But when I gave her the money, her smile changed. Just for a second. It wasn't the grateful, overwhelmed smile I expected. It was something else, satisfaction maybe. Like she'd confirmed something she already knew. Later I'd find out her mother wasn't actually sick. The emergency wasn't quite as urgent as she'd said. But I didn't know that then. Over the next 2 months, Pang and I saw each other almost every day. I fell in love with her. Or at least, I fell in love with the idea of her. The idea of not being alone, of being needed, of having a family again. I paid her 15,000 baht so she could quit working at the bar. I wanted her out of there before the lifestyle changed her, before she got too used to the money, before she met someone with more than me. She moved into my studio. It felt like we were already married. She cooked for me. Simple Thai dishes that cost almost nothing but tasted better than anything I'd had back home. We'd go out together every evening, walk along Beach Road, watch the sunset. She made me feel needed in a way my ex-wife never had. 6 months in, I knew I wanted to marry her. I knew I wanted to build a life with her, to take care of her daughter, to make this permanent. I thought I'd found my second chance at happiness, a partner who'd appreciate everything I could give her. I was wrong. Over the next year, from mid-1997 through 1998, life in Thailand felt like a dream I didn't want to wake from. Pang and I would wake up late, have breakfast at a small Thai place near the apartment, 30 baht for rice soup, maybe 50 cents, then spend the afternoons at the beach or exploring Pattaya. We'd go out for dinner every evening, nothing fancy, just local places where I could get a full meal for 60 baht. She didn't need to work anymore because I was giving her 8,000 baht a month, about $200. She'd send most of it to her family, she said, for her parents, for her daughter, who was living with her mother in the village. My investment returns meant I had about $3,200 coming in. Rent was 145s. Utilities maybe $40, food and entertainment another $600. I was spending less than my income, which meant I was actually saving about $400 a month. I felt financially secure, smarter than the other expats who were burning through their money on bar girls and booze. The 8,000 baht I gave Pang was nothing compared to what I'd spend back home. It was less than I'd pay in rent difference. A small price for happiness, for companionship, for love. After 8 months, she said her father needed medicine. A serious condition. The village doctor couldn't help. They needed to take him to the hospital in Surin city, and it would cost money. 50,000 baht, about 1,000, maybe $1,600. I didn't want to say no. If I said no, she'd think I didn't care about her family. She might leave. I'd look cheap. And this was her father, of course I'd help. I gave her the money. Looking back now, I see this was the test and I failed it. This was the moment I should have set boundaries. This was when she learned I'd always say yes. This was when I lost control, but I rationalized it. It was her family, of course I'd help. I wanted her to see I was serious about us. If I wanted her to be mine, I had to take care of her whole family. This was just how things worked in Thailand. By the end of 1998, we were talking about marriage. I asked her to marry me on the beach in Pattaya, watching the sunset. She cried. She said yes immediately. She called her family right away, speaking rapid Thai I couldn't understand, but I could hear the excitement in her voice. Her family wanted a traditional ceremony in her village. They kept asking when we'd get married, said it wasn't proper for us to live together without marriage, said the village was talking. Pang seemed embarrassed, agreed with them. We should make it official, she said. We agreed to do both, a traditional ceremony in the village for her family, and a smaller registration in Pattaya for the legal side. Then came the shock, sinsot. For those who don't know, sinsot is the bride price you pay to the bride's family in Thailand. It's supposed to show you can take care of her, meant to compensate the family for losing a daughter. In reality, it's become a way to extract money from foreigners. Pang's family wanted 1,500,000 baht, about $30,000, $48,000. I was stunned. $48,000 for permission to marry her, for a girl I was already living with. Money I'd never see again. I told Pang no. She cried. She said her family would disown her. She said I didn't respect her culture. She stopped talking to me for 3 days. I tried to negotiate down to 800,000 baht. Her mother said it was insulting. Her father wouldn't speak to me. The village would think she was worthless if the sinsot was too low. Finally, I agreed to 200,000 baht, about $45,000. I wanted to make her happy. I didn't want her family to think I was poor. I thought this would make me the man in charge. I'd paid for this, so I'd have respect, authority. This was the price of admission, and I was willing to pay it. That sinsot money could have been a house deposit back home. That money never benefited our marriage. It just made her family comfortable while I would struggle later. But I didn't know that then. June 1999, we got married in her village in Surin. The whole village showed up. At least 300 people I'd never met. It was hot, chaotic, and entirely in Thai. I understood maybe 10% of what was happening. It felt more like a party for her family than a wedding for us. The ceremony cost another 400,000 baht, about $18,000. Food for the village, traditional outfits, dowry gifts, monks, entertainment, flowers, and decorations. I paid for all of it. 2 weeks later, we had the registration ceremony in Pattaya. Smaller, just a few friends, but it cost another 80,000 baht. Pang was glowing, posting photos everywhere, well, getting them developed and showing them to everyone. She seemed so proud, so happy. We registered the marriage officially at the AMFO. We got marriage certificates in Thai and English. I was now officially married to a Thai citizen, which meant visa extensions would be easier, which meant I was tied to Thailand even more. At this point, I'd spent approximately $92,000. Breakdown: initial help, $5,000 monthly allowances, 18 months extra dollars. $3,600. Father's emergency, $1,600. Sinsat, $45,000 village wedding, $18,000. Registration ceremony, $3,200. Extra requests, $15,600 total. $92,000. I still had $388,000 left. My income was still covering our lifestyle comfortably, so I wasn't worried. This was all necessary, I told myself. This was building a future. We went to Koh Samui for a week for our honeymoon. It cost another $4,000. It should have been perfect, but Pang spent most of the time on her phone, calling her family, she said, making sure her daughter was okay. Every expense felt like a negotiation. She wanted to buy things for her family, for her daughter, for the village. When we got back to Pattaya, things seemed to settle down. For a while, everything was perfect. Pang cooked for me, was affectionate, made me feel wanted. She seemed genuinely happy. I thought marriage would make things stable, would mean we'd stop spending so much, would give me the peace I'd been looking for. I was wrong. This was just the beginning. The first 3 years of our marriage, from 1999 to 2002, passed quickly. We were renting a small house on the outskirts of Pattaya, away from the noise of Walking Street. Rent was 8,000 baht a month, about $200. 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen, a garden. It felt like a real home. We'd wake up late, eat out most meals, go to the beach in the afternoons, spend evenings at home watching Thai TV that I didn't understand. Every few months, we'd make the 8-hour trip to her village in Surin to visit her family and her daughter. My monthly expenses looked like this. Rent, $200, utilities, $60. Food, $500, eating out almost every meal. Pang's allowance, $250. Her family, $300. She said they needed it every month. Miscellaneous, $400, bars, entertainment. Trips, total $117 to tens. My income was $3,200, which meant I was saving about $1,500 a month. I felt smart, responsible, like I was doing everything right. But then the small requests started adding up. One day Pang saw a gold necklace at a shop in Central Festival. All her friends had gold, she said. In Thai culture, gold is important. It's security, status. 25,000 baht. About 625s. I bought it. It was only 625, right? How could I say no when she'd been so good to me, when she'd given up her independence for me? Looking back, that's probably the phrase that destroyed my life. It's only $625, because only 625 happened dozens of times over the years, and dozens times 625 is $15,000. Her brother got into a motorbike accident. He needed surgery. The family couldn't pay. 80,000 baht, about $2,000, Pang cried. She begged. She acted like it was life or death. She made me feel like a villain for even hesitating. I sent the money. They were my family now too. I couldn't let them suffer. What kind of husband would I be if I refused? This was part of being married to a Thai woman. You take care of the whole family. This happened every few months. Always a different emergency. Her sister's school fees. The roof on her parents' house needed repairs. Her daughter got sick and needed medicine. The village needed money for a temple ceremony. Always urgent, always expensive, always necessary, or so it seemed. Pang saw her friend's husband buy her a Honda Wave motorbike. Why didn't I buy her one? Was I cheap compared to her friends' husbands? It made me feel inadequate, defensive, like I had to prove myself. So I bought her a motorbike. 40,000 baht, $1,000. She started spending more time on her phone. She'd go out with friends more often. Just shopping, she'd say, or visiting my friend Noi. Our sex life started declining. Once a week became once a month, became once every few months. I noticed but didn't say anything. I told myself I was being paranoid. I assumed it was normal after being married a while. I didn't want to seem jealous or controlling. When I asked who she was talking to on the phone, she'd say, my friend or my family, or why you not trust me? I let it go. What else could I do? I was starting to feel trapped. I kept telling myself things would get better. I'd convinced myself this was normal. I felt like I couldn't complain because I'd chosen this life. I was too proud to admit I'd made a mistake. Most of my friends from back home had stopped calling. The time difference made it hard. I didn't have many close friends in Pattaya. Most of the expats I knew were either in the same situation or thought I was crazy for getting married. I felt alone even though I was married. By mid-2002, 5 years into my time in Thailand, I'd spent another $65,000 on top of the $92,000 from the wedding. Cumulative total $157,000. I was down to $323,000 in savings. My investments were still generating $3,200 monthly, but I was starting to worry about how long my money would last if emergencies kept happening. Then Pang started talking about buying a house. "We should build house in my village," she said. "For family. For us when we old. Why waste money on rent?" This was when things went from bad to catastrophic. In late 2002, Pang said, "We should build our own house. In my village. My parents getting old. They need help. We can live there, take care of them." She had it all planned out. She showed me drawings her cousin had made. A traditional Thai house but with modern amenities. 3 bedrooms, Western toilet. Air conditioning in the main bedroom. A nice kitchen. She said it would cost about 800,000 baht, about $20,000 for a whole house. That was nothing compared to property back home. I was hesitant. "I can't own property in Thailand. It would have to be in your name," I said. "We married, same, she said. "I your wife, not run away. You not trust me?" I had concerns. What if something goes wrong? We're fine renting, why rush into this? I don't know enough about Thai property law. Pang had answers for everything. We married. We should have house together. Save money, no more pay rent. This investment. House only get more expensive. My family help if problem. Her family kept asking when we'd build the house. It was shameful to rent, they said. The whole village was waiting. They'd already picked out the land. Family land that her parents would give us. I started to convince myself she was right. We could have our own space, stop paying rent, build equity, have something to pass to her daughter. I'd visited her village a dozen times. It was peaceful, quiet, away from the chaos of Pattaya. Her family was welcoming. We could have a good life there. The house would cost $20,000, less than a year's rent back in London. Affordable even if it didn't work out. For those who don't know, foreigners can't own land in Thailand. You can own the structure, the house itself, but not the land it sits on, which means if the relationship ends, you lose everything. She owns it completely. You can't force a sale. You have zero legal protection. I knew all of this. Other expats had told me horror stories. I'd read about it online. I'd heard about guys losing everything, but I did it anyway. I convinced myself we were different. I thought I was smarter than those other guys. I believed she'd never betray me. I was too in love to care. Looking back now, I want to go back in time and shake myself awake. I see how stupid I was. I understand why everyone told me not to. I realized this was the point of no return. Over the next 6 months, we built the house. We bought the land. Well, it was given to us by her family, but we had to pay for the legal transfer, 15,000 baht. Then we hired contractors her uncle knew. Then we designed the house together, or rather Pang and her family designed it while I nodded along. The original 800,000 baht estimate turned into 2,400,000 baht, about $60,000, because we needed better materials. The contractor found problems with the land. Pang wanted upgrades. Her family suggested a bigger kitchen, a second bathroom, a covered area for parties. Every time I questioned the cost, Pang would get upset. "You want cheap house? You want my family to be ashamed. This, our home, should be beautiful." I gave Pang $60,000 to handle the purchase and construction. I never saw receipts. She said cash was normal in Thailand. The amount kept changing. Money seemed to disappear into fees and taxes and unexpected problems. Her uncle was the contractor. I thought, what if something goes wrong? They'll all side with her. But I didn't say anything. I was too far in. I'd already committed. When we went to sign papers at the AMFO for the land transfer, everything was in Thai. I couldn't read any of it. Her cousin, who worked at the land office, handled everything. They spoke Thai the whole time and expected me to just sign. So I did. Once we'd committed to the purchase, Pang seemed less interested in my opinions. She made decisions without asking me. When I questioned something, she'd say, "Thai way, you don't understand." She acted like it was her project, not ours. By the time the house was complete in mid-2003, I'd spent $60,000. I was down to $263,000 in savings, about 55% of what I'd started with. I was starting to feel uncomfortable, but I told myself the house was an investment. We'd save money by not paying rent. When the house was finished, I felt proud, accomplished, like I'd finally done something permanent. Pang seemed happy, excited, posting photos everywhere, well, showing everyone in the village. Her family threw a huge party. She acted like she'd won the lottery. I thought, this is it. Now we can settle down. Now she'll be satisfied. This is our future secured. I was wrong. The house became a money pit because within months, things started going wrong. The roof leaked during monsoon season. The plumbing was terrible. The electrical system kept having problems, and Pang's family now expected even more from me. After all, I'd built them a house. From 2003 to 2010, 7 years that felt like 20. Things spiraled out of control. The house in Surin village started costing way more than I'd planned. The roof started leaking during the first monsoon. Water poured into the main bedroom. The contractor, Pang's uncle, said it wasn't his fault. The materials had been cheap. We needed to re-roof. 120,000 baht, $3,000. The plumbing was terrible. Toilets backed up constantly. The septic system wasn't big enough. Pipes burst. We needed to redo the entire system. 80,000 baht, $2,000. Pang's parents moved into the house, then her sister, then her brother and his wife, then her daughter. The house I'd built for us became a family compound. They treated it like a hotel. They used our utilities. The electricity bill went from 1,500 baht a month to 6,000 baht. The water bill tripled. Furniture broke. Air cons kept failing in the heat. The paint peeled. Termites destroyed the wooden deck. Everything needed constant maintenance and repair. Between repairs, utilities, and Pang's family using everything, the house that was supposed to save us money was costing 25,000 baht a month, about $625, more than we'd paid in rent in Pattaya. But we couldn't move back to Pattaya. The house was built. We lived there now. Pang wanted to be near her family. I was trapped. Pang's family escalated their demands. Her father needed a new motorbike. His old one broke down. 45,000 baht, 124 hours. Her sister got pregnant. They needed money for the hospital bills. 60,000 baht, 1,500. Her brother wanted to start a chicken farm. He needed seed money. 100,000 baht, $2,500. It failed within 6 months. Every few months there was a ceremony that needed money. Funerals, weddings, ordinations, temple donations, village festivals. Each one cost 20,000 to 50,000 baht. Over those 7 years, I sent Pang's family approximately $95,000, an average of over $100 per month. More than my original rent, more than I spent on myself. I started noticing a pattern. The emergencies were never ending. Money I sent never seemed to fix anything. The same problems kept coming up. Different relatives, same story. Pang and I barely had sex anymore. Maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and it felt obligatory, mechanical. We stopped being affectionate. We argued more often about money, always about money. We felt like roommates, not spouses. She spent more time in the village with her family than with me. She'd go for days without really speaking to me. She was always busy doing something, helping her mother, visiting friends, going to the market. Her phone was password protected suddenly. She'd leave the room to take calls. She got defensive when I asked who she was texting. Pang seemed unhappy all the time, resentful, like she wanted to be anywhere but with me. My expat friend John pulled me aside one day in 2009 when I was visiting Pattaya. "Mate, I have to tell you something about Pang," he said. "I saw her in Walking Street last month. She was with a Thai guy, young guy. They were holding hands, laughing. They went into a short-time hotel together. I didn't want to believe it. I got defensive. You must be mistaken," I said. "She was visiting her friend in Pattaya. She told me." "Jay, I know what I saw," John said. "I'm sorry, mate. I thought you should know." I thanked him but ignored it. I was too proud to admit I might be wrong, too invested to face the truth. But 2010 was when Pang started talking about opening a restaurant. "I want to work," she said. "I board in village. We can make money. Restaurant in Surin city. Sell Thai food, sometimes grilled chicken. Everyone loved my cooking." She had it all planned out. Location near the market. Small place. Simple menu. She said it would cost 500,000 baht, about $15,000 to get started. Rent, equipment, supplies, staff. "We make money back in 1 year," she promised. Maybe 2 years. Then profit forever. I was hesitant. That was a huge chunk of my savings. We were already spending so much on the house, on her family. Did we need another expense? But Pang wore me down. You want me just sit in house? I want to work, want to help, want to make money for us, not always take from you. It sounded reasonable. Maybe this would change things. Maybe if she had something to do, she'd be happier. Maybe we'd spend less if she was earning. The business cost way more than 500,000 baht. By the time we'd paid rent deposits, bought equipment, renovated the space, got licenses, bought inventory and hired staff, we'd spent flew 200,000 baht, about 38,000, then another 600,000 baht over the next year in operating costs, because the restaurant wasn't making enough to cover expenses. $18,000 more. Total business investment, $56,000. The restaurant lost money every month. We weren't getting enough customers. The profit margins were terrible. Competition was fierce. Her cousin, who was supposed to manage it, wasn't showing up half the time. Every month, Pang would say, "The restaurant needs money. We have to pay rent or we'll be shut down. Just one more time." Month 16. About $600 every month to keep things going. Month 7 to 12. Suddenly we needed $2,000 for equipment repairs. Month 13-18, another $3,000 because of tax issues. I was getting frustrated. I knew something was wrong. I'd put $56,000 into this, and we hadn't made a single baht in profit. But when I tried to look at the books, Pang got angry. She said I was insulting her. She accused me of not trusting her. She cried and made me feel guilty. By 2012, 15 years into my time in Thailand, I'd spent approximately $468,000. Breakdown. Wedding Sinsat, $92,000. House, $60,000 house ongoing costs. 7 years, $52,500. Family emergencies, $95,000. Monthly allowances, 15 years, $45,000. Business, $56,000. Unexpected costs, $67,500 total. $468,000. I had $12,000 left in savings. $12,000. That was it. That was all that remained of the $480,000 I'd started with. But my investments were still generating about $3,200 per month, or they were until I started pulling money out to cover expenses. Now they were generating about $1,300 per month, and our expenses were $3,200 per month. I was losing $400 every month. Going backwards, at 59 years old, I was supposed to be comfortably retired. Instead, I was working online teaching English to Chinese kids for $100 and $200 a month, just to cover the deficit. I felt trapped, depressed, angry at myself, scared about the future. I was too proud to admit failure to my kids back home. They barely spoke to me anyway. I'd put my entire future into this relationship, into Thailand, and I couldn't walk away because I'd lose everything. I kept telling myself, things will get better. She's just stressed. This is temporary. We've been through worse. I just need to be patient. One more year. But I was wrong, because in 2013 I found out the truth. It was a Tuesday afternoon in March 2013, and I was sitting at home in the village house. Pang had gone to Surin City to check on the restaurant. I was checking our bank account online, looking at the slow bleed of money, trying to figure out how to make things work. My phone rang. It was John, my friend from Pattaya. "Jay, mate, we need to talk. Can you come to Pattaya this weekend?" "What's going on?" I asked. "Not on the phone, just come to Pattaya. It's important." I drove the 8 hours from Surin to Pattaya that Friday. John met me at a quiet bar in Jomtin, away from the chaos of Walking Street. "I've been trying to figure out how to tell you this for years," John said. "But you need to know. Pang's been lying to you the whole time." My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. "What are you talking about?" John pulled out his phone. He showed me photos. Pang and a Thai man, 30s, fit, covered in tattoos, holding hands, kissing, leaving a hotel, sitting close at a restaurant in Pattaya. "This is her boyfriend," John said. "His name is Samchai. He was her boyfriend before she met you. He's been her boyfriend the whole time you've been together." "That's not possible," I said. "She lives with me. In the village." "How could she?" "Jay, she doesn't live in the village all the time. When she tells you she's visiting friends in Pattaya, or going to Bangkok for shopping or checking on the restaurant, she's with him. She's been with him from the beginning." John showed me more. Facebook posts she'd hidden from me. Photos of them together going back years 2005, 2007, 2009, 2011. Always in Pattaya, always together. Sometimes in restaurants I'd paid for, sometimes wearing jewelry I'd bought her. Everyone in Pattaya knows, John said quietly. The girls in the bars, the expats. Everyone except you. I'm sorry, mate. I should have told you years ago. I don't know. I thought maybe it wasn't my place. But I can't watch this anymore. I felt physically sick. I wanted to vomit. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my beer. How long have you known? I asked. Since 2008, maybe earlier. A lot of us knew, Jay. We didn't know how to tell you. I drove back to Surin in a daze. 8 hours of darkness, alone with my thoughts, replaying every moment of the past 16 years. Suddenly, everything made sense. That time in 2001, when the old man approached her at a restaurant and she acted weird, he knew her from before. He knew about Somchai. The money I'd sent for her mother's surgery in 2003, it probably went to him. Her friend she was always visiting in Pattaya, that was code for Somchai. The phone call she'd take in another room, him. The way our intimacy died after a few years, she was sleeping with him, not me. John had tried to tell me in 2009. I saw her with a Thai guy. I'd ignored him, called him mistaken, been too proud to see the truth. The restaurant that was always losing money. I realized now that some of that money was probably going to Somchai, funding their relationship while I thought I was building our future. Over the next week I looked deeper. I created a fake Facebook account and found her profile. The real one, not the one she'd shown me. Photo after photo of her and Somchai. Going back to 2006, before Facebook even came to Thailand properly. Old tagged photos from friends. They looked happy, in love. She was smiling in those photos. Really smiling, not the polite smile she gave me. She looked like a different person. I found photos from 2012, just a year ago. They were in Bangkok together. A nice hotel. She was wearing a dress I'd bought her for our anniversary. I calculated it. Over 16 years, she'd probably spent at least 30–40% of her time with him. All those trips to visit friends, all those weekends in Pattaya shopping, all those days at the restaurant. She'd been living a double life. And I'd been funding both sides of it. The money I'd sent to her family, she'd told them about Somchai. They knew, the whole village probably knew. I was the foreign fool who paid for everything, while she loved someone else. I'd been played from the start. From that very first night in Walking Street in 1997, when she seemed different from the other girls. It was an act, a long con, a 16-year performance, and I was the only one who didn't know it was a show. I'd spent $468,000 on a lie. I was 60 years old, broke, and the biggest fool in Thailand. I couldn't keep this inside anymore. I needed to hear her admit it. I needed to see her face when she knew I knew. That evening, when Pang came home from the restaurant, I was waiting for her at the kitchen table. I had my laptop open with her Facebook profile on the screen. I said, "Who is Somchai?" Pang froze. Her face went pale. She looked at the laptop screen, saw the photos, saw herself and him together. "What you talking about?" She said, "Where you get that?" "I know everything," I said. My voice was surprisingly calm, cold. "I've seen the photos. I know he's your boyfriend. I know he's been your boyfriend the whole time. Just tell me the truth." She looked down, started crying. "You check my Facebook. You spy on me. Don't turn this around," I said. "Answer the question. Is Somchai your boyfriend?" She cried harder. "That not what you think? He just friend, old friend. From before I meet you. I've seen the photos, Pang, you kissing him, in hotels, wearing jewelry I bought you. Stop lying to me." I showed her more photos. Her and Somchai at a beach, her and Somchai at a restaurant. Her and Somchai in Bangkok, dating back years. "Just tell me the truth," I said. "How long?" Her face changed. The crying stopped. Her mask dropped. I saw the real person for the first time in 16 years. "Okay," she said. Her voice was flat, emotionless. "Yes, I with him. Since before I meet you. He my boyfriend. Real boyfriend. The whole time?" "Yes, whole time." The words hit me like a physical blow. 16 years. 16 years of believing she loved me, that we were building something together. All of it a lie. The money I gave you for your family, did any of it actually go to them? She shrugged. Some, not all. Samchai need money too. The restaurant money? Some for restaurant. Some for him. Some for me. Did you ever love me? She looked away. Said nothing. Answer me, Pang, did you ever love me? She looked me in the eyes. No, I never love you. You have money. I need money, simple. So I was just, what, an ATM? You Farang, she said. You come Thailand, you want Thai girl, you pay. I give you what you want, you give me what I want. This is business. Business? We're married? Marriage just paper, she said. You think I love old man? You think I want to be with you? I do what I have to do. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Did your family know about Somchai? Of course they know. Everyone know. Only you don't know. The house I built, thank you for house, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Very beautiful house. My family very happy. Samchai like it too. He's been to the house. Of course. When you in Pattaya working, he come to village. We stay in house you build. Very comfortable. I wanted to hit something. To scream, to break everything. But I just sat there frozen. Why me? I asked. Why did you choose me? You looked like you had money, she said simply. You were nice, easy. You believed everything I said. You fell in love so fast. Did your daughter even need medicine that first time? Did your mother need surgery? She laughed. Actually laughed. Mother fine. Never sick. That money for Somchai. He need new motorbike. 16 years. $468,000. All of it built on lies from day one. I want a divorce, I said. Okay, she said. But house is mine. Land is mine. Everything is mine. You have nothing. She was right. Everything I'd built, everything I'd paid for, everything I'd invested, it was all in her name. The house, the land, the business. Legally, I had no claim to any of it. I had $12,000 to my name and a pension that barely covered basic expenses. At 60 years old, I had nothing. Leave, I told her. Get out. This is my house, she said. You leave. And she was right. It was her house. I'd paid for it, but it was hers. I packed a bag that night and went to stay at a cheap guest house in Surin City. I couldn't look at her. I couldn't stay in that house one more second. Over the next week, I talked to people. I asked questions. I learned more. The emergency surgeries her mother supposedly had in 2002, 2004, and 2007 never happened. Her mother had been fine the whole time. That money went to Somchai. The business losses, at least half the money I'd poured into the restaurant had gone elsewhere. To Somchai, to Pang's personal expenses, to her real life with her real boyfriend, her cousin running the restaurant. He was actually Somchai's friend. He'd been in on it, siphoning money. The village wedding I'd paid for, they'd had another ceremony later. Pang and Somchai, traditional Buddhist ceremony. The village saw them as the real couple. I was just the foreign sponsor. Other expats in Pattaya had warned John about her before I even met her. She'd done similar things with other foreigners. I wasn't the first, maybe not even the second or third. The family land I'd built on, they'd been planning to sell it eventually. My house would increase the value. They'd split the money without me seeing a baht. Her family hadn't needed the money I'd sent over 16 years. They'd wanted as much as they could get. They saw me as a resource to extract from. And I'd let them. I'd been played from the start. The mark in a long con, a walking wallet. Everyone in the village knew, everyone in Pattaya knew, everyone except me. So I sat down and calculated everything on a piece of paper in that guest house room. 1997 to 1999, courtship, $92,000. 1999, 2003, house, $60,000. 2000 through 2010, house maintenance, $52,500. 1997-2013, family emergencies, $125,000. 1997-2013, monthly allowances, $51,000. 2010-2013, business, $70,000. Miscellaneous, $37,500 total. $488,000, I had $12,000 left. less than 3% of what I'd started with. By pulling money out of investments over the years, my monthly income had dropped from $3,200 to $1,800. I was working online for another $1,200 just to survive. I was 60 years old, too old to work decades to rebuild, looking at years of poverty just to survive. I consulted a Thai lawyer in Surin. He told me the truth I already knew. You have almost no rights as a foreign spouse. Thai law heavily favored Thai nationals. Anything in her name is hers, period. You'd need to prove fraud, which is nearly impossible. Legal battles would cost more than you'd recover. Courts rarely side with foreigners in these cases. The house, legally hers. I couldn't claim it. The business, my name wasn't even on it. I was just an investor with no proof. Marriage payments, considered gifts non-recoverable. If I wanted a divorce, I'd have to pay her or negotiate. I tried to negotiate. I offered her 200,000 baht, about $6,500, to sign the house over to me. Just the structure. Just something. She laughed. House worth much more than that. You want house? You pay me 2,000 baht. I didn't have 2,000 baht. I barely had $12,000. This was when I finally understood Thailand. All those years I'd thought I was building a life here, that I was part of the community, that Thailand welcomed foreigners, that respect and love could bridge the gap. But the truth was I was always just an ATM. Thailand tolerates foreigners as long as money flows. The smile is a mask. You'll never belong no matter what you do. The greed is systemic and unapologetic. They see us as resources to extract from. From day one, I was seen as money, nothing more. Those famous Thai smiles. They smile while taking everything from you. After 16 years, I was still Farang, still an outsider, still not one of them. The whole country is set up this way. Laws, culture, expectations. It's designed to extract from foreigners. I couldn't sleep. I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. I started drinking heavily. Cheap Lau Cow whiskey because I couldn't afford anything better. I fell into depression. I had panic attacks. I felt suicidal. I had no one to talk to. I'd alienated my family back home. I'd lost contact with old friends. I was embarrassed to admit what happened. I felt completely alone. I thought of myself as smart, careful, successful. But I'd been the biggest fool. Exactly the stereotype. Another statistic. The cautionary tale other expats would tell. I had to decide. Leave Thailand and start over with almost nothing, or stay and accept this was my life now. I chose to leave. I refused to stay in a country that had taken everything from me. I refused to see Pang and Somchai living in the house I'd built. I refused to be reminded every day of my failure. But I didn't have enough money to go back to the UK. Housing was too expensive. The cost of living would drain my last $12,000 in months, so I chose the Philippines, Manila, cheaper than Thailand, close enough that I could afford the flight. I left Thailand in October 2013 with 2 suitcases, $12,000 in cash and whatever dignity I had left. I left behind the house, $60,000 of my money in a structure I'd never see again. The business, $70,000 in a failed dream, 16 years of my life, $488,000 and my entire retirement. What I left with, $12,000, barely enough to survive 6 months. 3 weeks after leaving Thailand, living in a cheap hotel in Manila while I looked for an apartment, I got an email from Pang. Jay, I need money for divorce. You want divorce, you pay. 300,000 baht, about 9,700, nearly everything I had left. I replied, I have no money. You took it all, she wrote back, then no divorce. We still married. I can make problem for you. I can tell immigration you abandoned Thai wife. I can make trouble. I ignored her. I didn't care about the divorce papers. I was never going back to Thailand anyway. Over the next few months, I found a tiny studio apartment in Manila for $280 a month. 1 room, shared bathroom down the hall. No air conditioning. But it was cheap. I worked online teaching English for $200 a month. With my $800 pension, I had $3,000 total income. After rent, food, utilities, I was left with about $1,900 a month. I was slowly rebuilding savings, but at 60 years old, $900 a month in savings wasn't going to give me a comfortable retirement. I cut off all contact with Pang. I blocked her number. I deleted Facebook. I wanted no connection to Thailand, to that life, to those memories. But the damage was done. Thailand had taken my savings, $488,000, my time, 16 years, my dignity, my trust in people, my retirement dreams, my peace of mind, my relationship with my children back home who thought I was crazy, my health. The stress had aged me, given me high blood pressure, ruined my sleep what it gave, lessons I didn't want to learn, memories that haunt me, understanding of how cruel people can be, knowledge of my own stupidity, a story to warn others. Thailand is set up for this. It protects its own at any cost. It has no sympathy for foreigners. The laws weaponize love and kindness. They turn vulnerability into profit. Not all Thais are like this, I know that. But the culture that says taking advantage of foreigners is acceptable, the lack of shame in scamming someone who trusts you, the way money overrides everything, including basic decency, that's systemic. I'm in Manila now. I rent a small studio for $208 a month. I work online teaching for $2,200 a month. So I live on a budget tighter than I ever imagined at 60 years old. I do the math every month, wondering how long this will last, knowing I can never stop working, knowing I'll die working instead of enjoying retirement. I don't talk to anyone about what happened. I've cut off contact with most people from Thailand. I avoid other expats because I'm embarrassed. I keep to myself. I'm broken. I'll never trust again. The damage is permanent. I see Pang's face when I close my eyes. I wake up angry every day. I've lost who I used to be, but I'm alive. That's something, I guess. I survived what she did to me. She didn't completely destroy me. I'm here and she's there. That's a kind of victory. I'm poor, but I'm free. November 2025. I'm 72 years old. I'm still in Manila. I have $18,000 in savings. It's not much. I count every peso. I budget like I never had to before. I work online for $400 a month now, slightly more than before. I live on my pension of $1,800. Total income $3,200. Expenses about $2,400. I save $800 per month. I rent a studio for $280. It's small, hot, cramped. I own nothing. I have a laptop, some clothes, and that's it. I can't afford insurance. I have health problems I can't treat properly. High blood pressure, chronic pain in my back. I'm aging faster than I should. I don't date anymore. I can't imagine trusting anyone again. I avoid relationships entirely. I am completely alone by choice. My children from my first marriage don't speak to me anymore. They think I'm crazy. They think I wasted my life. They're right. Some days I feel okay. I work, I eat, I watch Netflix, I sleep. Other days the anger comes back and I can't function. Most days I just exist, going through the motions, waiting for tomorrow. If I could go back, I'd never go to Thailand. I'd walk away the first time she asked for money. I'd listen to the warnings. I'd trust my instincts. I'd not be so desperate for love. I'd choose literally anyone else. I'd stay home and accept being alone. But I can't. The past is gone. I'm stuck with the choices I made. Time only moves forward. This is the life I built, even if I built it wrong. My future? I don't see things getting better. I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. My retirement will be poverty. I've accepted this is how I'll die, working alone in a foreign country far from home. I have no plans, just survival. If you're reading this, I'm telling you this for a reason. Learn from my mistakes. Don't be me. Save yourself. Here are 7 things I learned after losing everything. Lesson number 1. Never put property in her name. I thought, we're married so it's ours, she'd never betray me, Thai law required it. The truth is, the moment it's in her name, it's hers legally. You have 0 claim. You can't force a sale. You can't get it back. You're at her mercy. Rent instead. It's cheaper than losing a house. If you must buy a condo in your name, we're legal. Consider her wanting property the biggest red flag. If she insists on a house, walk away. This mistake cost me $60,000 plus 16 years of maintenance costs. Don't let it cost you. Lesson number 2. If the age gap is 20 plus years, it's not love. I was 44, she was 26. She wasn't attracted to me, she was attracted to my wallet. No 26-year-old genuinely falls for a 44-year-old. The romance was performance. She was working. I wanted to believe I was special. I thought my personality made up for age. I convinced myself she saw past appearances. I ignored biology and common sense. Ask yourself, would she be with you if you had no money? Would she choose you over a Thai man her age if both had the same income? Does she introduce you to her friends proudly or hide you? If she calls you handsome man but won't be seen with you in public, you're an ATM, not a boyfriend. Lesson after 3. The family emergencies never stop. Her father needs money for medicine. You pay it. Next month, her brother needs money for an accident. You pay it. Then her sister needs school fees. It becomes monthly, then constant. Half the emergencies aren't real. The ones that are real wouldn't be your responsibility in any other culture. Her family sees you as an ATM they can access through her. Say no to the first request. Set the precedent. Give a fixed monthly amount and nothing extra ever. If she can't accept that, she's not the one. Her family's financial problems are not your responsibility. I sent $125,000 to her family over 16 years. I never saw a single baht benefit our relationship. Lesson number 4. Don't invest in her business dreams. She wants to open a restaurant, flip properties, start a salon. She says she knows the business, has a plan, will make you both rich. She just needs seed money. The business will fail within a year, lose money every month, be mismanaged by her relatives, or mysteriously not be profitable despite customers. Why, she has no real business experience. Her relatives steal from it. She uses it as a personal ATM. Competition is fierce. The plan was fantasy. It was never about profit, just about getting your money. Never invest money you can't afford to lose completely. Better yet, just say no. I lost $70,000 in a business that was clearly a scam from the start. Lesson number 5. Sinsat is extortion disguised as tradition. They'll tell you it's tradition, showing respect, proving you can take care of her. It's a foreigner tax, a way to extract maximum money at the start. They'll ask for a high amount. You'll negotiate to a lower amount. You'll feel like you won. You lost. You paid anything at all. Refuse to pay it. Offer a small gift instead. If she insists, major red flag. No genuine relationship should require buying into it. Thai men don't always pay sinsat to Thai women. It's often returned after the ceremony. For foreigners, it rarely is. You're being treated differently because you're foreign. I paid $45,000 that went straight to her family and was never seen again. Lesson 6. The red flags were there. I ignored them all. She kept working at the bar after we started dating. I ignored it. The old man who approached her at a restaurant and she acted weird. I ignored it. Her phone secrecy. I ignored it. The emergencies were too frequent. I ignored it. John tried to warn me in 2009. I ignored him. Why? I didn't want to see the truth. I was too invested to back out. I told myself I was being paranoid. I wanted to believe so badly. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. One red flag might be nothing. Multiple are a pattern. Don't ignore warnings from others. Your gut knows before your brain admits it. Listen. Lesson number 7. Thailand is not your friend. This isn't about Thai people as individuals. This is about how foreigners are treated legally. The cultural acceptance of extracting from outsiders. The lack of legal protection. Realities: you can't own land ever. Business, maximum 49%. You never have control. Marriage doesn't grant property rights like Western countries. Courts heavily favor Thai nationals. You'll always be Farang, always an outsider. Go to Thailand to visit, not to build a life. Never put your financial security in a country where you have no legal rights. Always maintain an exit strategy. Keep money in your home country. After 16 years, I still wasn't home. I was a tolerated guest who paid rent on an entire life. Lesson number 8. Don't sacrifice your security for anyone. I gave up my retirement, my savings, my future, for someone who never loved me. If I'd kept my money invested, I'd have over $1,000 now. If I'd stayed home, I'd be retired comfortably. Instead, I have $18,000 and I'm working at 72. No woman, Thai or otherwise, is worth your entire future. Love shouldn't cost you everything you've worked for. If she truly loves you, she won't demand you sacrifice your security. You can't save her from poverty by joining her in it. All you do is make 2 people poor instead of 1. These 8 lessons cost me $488,000 and 16 years to learn. I'm giving them to you for free. Maybe, just maybe, someone will listen. Maybe you'll avoid my fate. Maybe this wasn't all for nothing. If you're reading this, you're probably thinking about moving to Thailand. Or you're already there and things aren't feeling right. Or you're in love with a bar girl and wondering if it's real. Don't do what I did. Please don't put property in her name. Don't believe the "we're different" lie. Don't ignore red flags because you're in love. Don't sacrifice your retirement. Don't trust someone you met in a bar. Don't think the age gap doesn't matter. Because you'll end up like me, broke at 72, working when you should be retired. Full of regret, unable to fix what you've broken. What you should do instead. If considering Thailand, visit Thailand. Don't move there permanently. Keep your money in your home country. Rent. Never buy. Set a monthly budget and stick to it. Assume every woman you meet in a bar is working. Because she is. Date women your own age from your own country. Never give large sums of money, no matter the story. Keep your investments intact. Don't touch the principal. Maintain relationships back home. Don't burn bridges. Always have an exit plan and money to execute it if you're already there and seeing red flags. It's not too late to leave. Cut your losses now before they grow. Your money and future are more important than pride. Being alone is better than being scammed. Don't fall for sunk cost fallacy. I already invested so much. The money you've spent is gone. Don't waste more chasing it. If you think your relationship is different, it's not. They all think they're different. I thought I was different. The age gap matters. The financial imbalance matters. The cultural difference matters. Love and trust require equality. You don't have it. The hard truth: Thailand sells a fantasy. Cheap living, beautiful women, exotic paradise, escape from Western problems. But the fantasy has a price. And that price is everything. The bar girl who seems different isn't different. The family emergency is probably fake. The business opportunity is a scam. The house you build is hers. The love you feel is one-sided. I lost 16 years and $488,000 learning this. How much will it cost you? My final words: I'm 72 years old. I work every day to survive. I live in a cramped studio in Manila. I have no retirement. No security, no peace. I destroyed my life chasing a lie in Thailand. Don't let Thailand destroy yours. If you're thinking about going, reconsider. If you're already there, be smart. If you're already in too deep, get out while you still can, because once you've lost everything like I have, there's no coming back. I'm living proof.